Good afternoon. Thank you for joining. My name is Krystal Milan, and I'm here on the Impact Podcast at the Congressional Black Caucus Annual Legislative Conference Week. Thank you so much for joining. I'm excited to be here. I really want to give a special shout out and thank you to the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation for supporting me, for having me. You know, I'm an alumni of this organization's program. I was a fellow in 2018, 2020, and it's through those programs that I'm on the path that I'm on today. So this organization is doing some excellent work, nurturing young people and truly building up the pipeline of young Black successful leaders. You know, I want to take some time today to talk a little bit about how important, how critical it is that we invest and nurture and develop our young people. We are living in some very challenging times. And you know, it's astonishing how quickly that progress can unravel. The recent changes in policy from this administration and a Republican-led Congress have been so detrimental to the goal of helping young people to learn, grow, and thrive. From slashing Medicaid access, prohibiting funding for abortion providers, it's only increasing gaps in care, coverage, and stability. You know, more than 42 million Americans rely on SNAP to put food on the table. The recent changes, these cuts are the largest in history, and these will drastically harm young people and vulnerable communities. The attacks on education have been just as cruel. From the attempts to dismantle the Department of Education, slashing federal aid programs, to eliminating pathways to student debt forgiveness, it makes it harder and in some cases impossible for low income and first generation college students to attend and to finish college. That's the reality facing millions of young people. Policy changes, changes in laws that are harming our ability to learn, grow, and thrive. You know, it's times like this, moments like this that I reflect on history. And as I think about it, I think about how young people have been a part of every successful social movement for justice and change that there's been. And, you know, I don't think that gets enough acknowledgement. So I'm going to say that again, that young people have been a part of every successful movement for justice and change that there has been. From the civil rights movement, to the gay rights movement, to the Black Power movement, to the March for Our Lives movement, to the Sunrise movement, and to Black Lives Matter. Young people have been there and in many ways have led and initiated these movements. Young people continue to exercise organizing on their college campuses and in their communities to drive the change that they want to see. And it's also in moments just like this, when our democracy is being tested, that is calling for mass organizing, turning out to vote in mass numbers. We're going to need to implement the strategies that our parents, our grandparents, and for some, our great-grandparents did when it came to passing bills like the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. We have to show our power through our vote. We have to show our power at the ballot box. And we can't just get discouraged because of the results of one election. This really is a long game. You know, if we truly think about it, there are some that would prefer for us to be discouraged, for us to feel hopeless so that we don't take action. But we cannot allow that to let us get weary and to get lost in all of this chaos. Now, I've referenced young people in my remarks since that's the demographic that I fall in, but really and truly, this is a call to action for everyone because these policies harm all of us. In times like this, when misinformation and deception is widespread, we have to be vigilant to keep ourselves aware and informed. We do this by organizing ourselves, having intergenerational conversations, and using our power at the ballot box to reflect our values, not just in national elections, but also in state and local elections as well. Now, in closing, in order for any of us to have a fair shot at this life and a fair shot at economic opportunity and financial freedom and any of the other dreams that we have for ourselves, There must be affordable and accessible pathways, not just available for some, but for all of us. We have to have the policies, we have to have the laws that make this possible. And we must organize ourselves to get rid of those who are harming us and to vote the right people in place to make these things happen that we need to see. We have to be drivers of the change that we want to see. There's no other answer to that. This is not the time to break down, but this is the time to break through. And I want to thank the CBCF, the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, again for having me and supporting me and giving me this opportunity, and for all of you for listening. You can follow me on social media at Krystal D. Milam. That's Krystal with a K. And I look forward to staying in contact with all of you, and be blessed. Thank you again.